Use this time to train a bit. We'll be deploying soon. Training's over. Time to see what you've learned.
Couple quick late night rounds.
30 gallons and the 3x3. Covered process come in since the last time I was here. I was gone.
Resurgence.
We went on a business trip.
That's gas you don't want to breathe. Make your way to the safe zone.
Sharing your stories, sharing your flowers.
Hold out until the countdown is complete to redeploy for free. Any point where the action will shorten its duration.
Those of you that hung out with us.
Enemy dropping into the AO.
It means the world. It reinvigorates all of us. The whole crew was down there. Evan from was there. AJ was down there. We had a couple people come and visit and hang out with us.
Hunt the enemy before they hunt you.
We had like a team there. And we got fully re-energized, hearing all the stories. New Mexico's just blowing up right now. Everybody's getting a license. It's going to be insane. But I guess the moral of the story is I had to leave. And so I want to go over
enemy UAV
we
active.
had a couple things go wrong with the seeds, and I want to discuss that so we can teach you how to avoid those issues. We've done lots of seed germination tutorials in the past, and this time we did the laziest method possible, and then we left town. And it was horrible timing. I think literally in the episodes I said, make sure you're not leaving town when you plant the seeds, and make sure you don't have a business trip coming up. Probably because I knew I did have one coming up. We haven't worked out the
enemy UAV active.
We had to leave, and we're doing another 10x10 where we're just starting over 1,500 tomato and cucumber seeds, and that's for our greenhouse. Well, I guess think about the discipline that's required to run a garden, to start seeds, and there's certain key moments for a little bit of time. Either way, I'll show you what happened, so we'll discuss that. I'm also going to show you about
returning you to the front lines. Go get them.
A 30-gallon soil test, at least very briefly, and then we're going to do an episode on what we're actually going to do based on the soil test. Talk about what we're going to do there, and then I also have some updates coming as far as what the next steps are to actually get these quadrants popped off. And part of that is doing DNA testing with Dr. Freeman. He's sending us his in the mail. We'll have all of them so that we can clip a piece of the tissue, slip it in the sleeve, and send it out. We're going to do that next week. And that's when we're going to label every single seed that we're going to be tracking as far as male or female. When the results come back, we're going to move the males into another tin, and we're going to start to separate females based on how healthy, the structure, just little basic characteristics. Because when you pop a whole bunch of seeds, you're going to get some runts, you're going to get some weird things. And we could keep them all, but I'm not going to run all of them here. We have a limited plant count. I want to make sure that we have each quadrant identified with the plants that we're going to run as soon as possible. So I expect that next week we'll do the DNA testing. We'll have the results within a few days. So within 2 weeks, we'll know exactly what's going on in here. Probably within the next few episodes.
Gas is right on your tail.
Let's show you the seeds. Let's get into
enemy UAV active.
The reason we started this was to document part of documentation is it's not really a marketing thing in the sense that you don't get to make it perfect. We're doing this live as things happen. So if I make a mistake, you get to see the mistake. And those are always learning opportunities. And this one was 100% my fault. I'm a little embarrassed to admit that, but I feel like it's the right thing to do. In the garden, there's not really anybody else you can blame. I wish I had other people in here doing things. We left town, but the mistake was made before we left. So it wasn't Jack's fault. It was all my fault. That being said, I know what I did, and sometimes when you're good at it and you know you made a mistake, it hurts twice as bad as knowing what you did and realizing you're just a beginner. So either way, we'll go over it. When I show you what happened, I think you're going to laugh because really it happened to all of us. And what sucks is usually it's expensive seeds and it's the ones we care the most about when it happens. Like,
You made the top 25. Nearly there. Supply box marked. Secure the goods.
So I think you can relate to that. If you've got a story where maybe you messed up a round of cuts or you killed a whole bunch of seeds, maybe you can help me feel better about myself by sharing some of those stories in here, post them up. I'll share with you one more experience that I had when I was brand new.
Loadout drop on the way.
From named seeds and like trying to do the whole deal. And so I placed an order overseas, and the seeds were coming in, and it was like past the first hurdle where at least I got the seeds. I know a lot of times they'd go missing in the mail or whatever would happen.
Gas is moving in. New safe zone highlighted.
And that was all the money I could afford at the time to buy these seeds. And so I didn't really have a backup plan. And I was so careful with them. I got like a grow light bulb. And since I didn't have like my grow room set up yet, I had to stack like boxes and put Tupperware on top of it. I just overdid everything and I killed every single seed.
Loadout drop on the way.
I wait another month to get seeds from overseas and spend the money again. And then after that, I didn't make the same mistake. I just simplified it a little bit. And so hopefully I can do that for you today. Show you what I did right. I wanted to share that story because it's not the first time. I'm sure it's not the last time. This is the most embarrassing time since it's the most public, but we even talked about it behind the scenes. We were like, maybe we just put more seeds in it. Don't say anything. And I thought, you know, this whole episode, this whole series has been based on transparency, it's been based on honesty, and it's been based on the fact that we're not perfect, and we just show you what we do. And so don't go too hard on me, but please share some stories. And let me show you what we did. I popped a whole bunch of new seeds. I've actually got some from the first round because I didn't kill them all. Luckily, I had backup of almost all the genetics, and of the one pack that I didn't, I got enough germination where I'm confident we'll still have the same plan for this go. I just might have a lot more Pacololo 1 to choose from because those did really well. Let's go take a look. I'll show you what's going on. Here's the newest seeds, and you'll see a couple different soils. The technique is what matters most, not just the soil. I also wanted to show people that my mistake was my mistake, not the soil. I've used various recipes for a long time. I've popped seeds in 3.0, light, Pro Mix, all the different things for years. And I want to just share that with you so that maybe you don't get so particular about exactly which medium you use. So here's Build a Soul Light. This is Pacololo the 1. And these are coot seeds, and we got 100% on that set. And that's really good to see. We killed a whole bunch of them the first time.
Enemy dropping into the AO.
This is a
Gas is inbound.
And I have it kind of cockeyed right now because it's helping with the background light in here. This new light is so much more powerful than I did the first day. When I popped the seeds, I did direct soil, which I still like. If this was all the same thing, I did direct soil. But the one thing I said you can't do is let them dry out. And what do? I start them on a Friday before I go home for the weekend, before a business trip the next week. And so when I went home, I didn't have my work keys on me. And we tried to come back in the morning, my wife and I did, and the door was locked. I couldn't get in, and so I had to wait. I came back, finally got in here and unzipped the tent, and I can show you the notes on here, but I just wrote, like I was trying to pretend like it didn't happen. Well, a lot of them were fried. And I just barely put the seedlings in and covered them, and was hoping the humidity would kind of cover it for me, but I didn't have any domes on here. And the humidity had a lot higher par than I had anticipated. Dropping the wind down on there, kind of putting the moisture in the air. We had the fan moving, but the humidity wasn't set high enough. So we just roasted the seeds. It is what it is. Some of them made them.
Enemy dropping into the AO.
The ones that made it over here, and they're all looking really good. I have a few that are really small. That's actually from this set. I had another tray here that I just popped some random.
Gas is inbound.
Well, happy to say we won't use those, but I set a few of them down there.
Fire sale is active.
Maybe give a few
Fire
away.
station costs.
Nobody knows that he makes seeds, but he's a legend and he's got some really good seed packs. And that was Royal Hot
Good to go.
So, Kevin, if you're watching this, I popped a few. I'm probably going to run it home. Let's get to the next trick, and this is what we did right there.
What's up, cuz?
The dome wouldn't fit on. And I only had to water it one time.
Damn, motherfucker.
And they stayed wet the entire time until they all
Hello?
germinated, which is the way to go. What happens when they start to get dry on top and you missed it, if you're in a living soil, that can cause damping off. Constantly
Alright.
Stay vigilant. Resurgence window is about to close.
There, it fires off a lot of the bacteria. I mean, it's full of compost and road feed.
Fire sales done. Prices are back to normal.
Forgot.
But the humidity dome helps the initial watering lock it in and drill the seeds so that we don't have to worry about
Motherfucker. Shouldn't have went to the door.
Condensated. It's easier for me to just
Here we go again.
I've done it every season in the past. You can make some pretty good. So now we're back on track. I want to talk about the next soil that you see here.
Need some first aid.
Motherfucker.
We've been testing it for a while. I want to slow walk releasing it. Seedling soil is important, but we also don't sterilize things around here. And so I've been playing. And that's for Montana grow. So this one has a weight amount of Montana grow in them, and that's half of them. And then this one right here, so this is the Montana grow, these 5. These 5 are without it. And they all had a similar germination. Now I'm going to track and see if there's any differences in the growth, just kind of a miniature side-by-side between the same seeds. And over here we did the same thing. So we had some in the Montana grow.
What?
And
Holding for deployment. Take this time to ready up. Enemy soldier nearby.
We'll see a difference as the plant continues to grow. And we're going to grow a lot more in our soil mixers, and so I'll start talking about some of the results that we've seen. I want to say seeds. These are all comparable ones. So there's plenty to choose from. We're going to have some that we're just not going to be able to keep. I'll probably bring some home. We're going to do our best to keep all the males and look for characteristics as we run the females that we can translate, so we know how to make selections, and we'll talk about that as we go.
Playtime's over. Stand by for deployment to the war zone.
That's what's coming down the line with all these seeds. So not all of them. To tell you about the Montana grows because we're using it more. I've got a recipe where we added more than we ever have to it. We're doing some testing on. I think it's exciting, and I want you guys to hear about it. So look forward to Robbie from Montana Grow coming down and doing a YouTube like kind of hangout or product highlight, but it's going to be more than that. He's a super smart guy. He did a special on green mining and got really into it, and that's how he came to find the mine that produces Montana Grow. So I really can't wait to share the story and talk about why we use it. So look for that episode coming out soon. Beyond that, I have some seeds over here from the first round. We're going to do a whole episode soon on DNA testing, where I've got to show you the plants, and we're going to cut a piece off, and we're going to send it to the lab to find out if they're male or female, unlike last time where we waited at about 6 weeks' time once you've planted them from seed. And that's not a hard and fast time frame, but that adds a lot of time to our season. And with this many seeds, I don't really want to wait that long. So we're going to send it off for DNA testing. We'll tell you how it works. It might be something that you can do in the future as well. And then let's talk about the other quadrants. But if you have questions about the seedlings, what we did differently, I kind of jumped around a little bit. The key thing was don't let the top of the soil dry out. And if the only way you have to do that is to mist it constantly, you raise the chance of damping off. I really prefer to either jack up the humidity in the entire tent, which is kind of a waste since it's so big, or just use the domes. The domes are so helpful. Then you only water it that one time. It holds the moisture in there. And if you watch our past series on planting seed, it'll really detail, highlight those things. We have several videos on starting seed. I broke the cardinal rule. I blasted them with intense light, let them dry out, and then right in the time I could have maybe nursed some of my left count. So plan ahead a little better than I did, and I promise you'll have really good success with your seedlings. So I brought the soil test out for the 30-gallon of light soil, and if I look, I think this one's the one that says tested right here on the tag. So this is the one that we soil tested, but the cover crop is now germinated. And so whatever we do,
check weapons and gear. You got time before deployment.
I'll show you that exactly what works. Anybody can get the books. You'll work on your own soil testing. If it's too much for you, we've got some great services ready to help you with it.
Soldiers nearby.
Decent in this recipe. Potassium drops pretty low. When we look at the order of things, sodium is good, calcium is at the top of the list. It's about 50 pounds per acre. It's not too bad though, right? They're still about 100 pounds per acre. Normal crops, you might go a lot higher than that, but I like to be able to supplement with amino acids.
Enemy soldier nearby.
Nitrogen, so it's not completely exhausted. Looks pretty good. And then we get to the extraction. This is a chemical extraction. This tells you everything in the soil forever, like a savings account. This tells you what's only water soluble the plant will see that day. Soluble salt, pretty good. There's a decent amount of nutrients in there. At least it's not completely low. But chloride and bicarbonate, like non-existent. So
preparation's done. Time to deploy to the war zone.
Phosphorus availability looks a little bit low.
Resurgence. That's gas you don't want to breathe. Make your way to the safe zone. Survive the countdown to secure your redeployment. Earning points speeds up the countdown. Hostile dropping into the area. Watch the skies. Targets are up. Take them out.
You can just do water only, or you can go more detailed in that system.
Enemy UAV active.
Why? And then we're going to duplicate that system right here, so you can see that the system works. I've got soil test here, and it looks pretty similar. It's a little bit more stable on this one.
You've got another chance to make a difference.
Excessive on this one, and that's due to the ending from the last round. Potassium still drops, not quite as low as the other one. So this bed is holding slightly more stable. It has less soluble salts, but everything else looks like it's holding really well. We'll go in detail over this 3x3 pick and bake. This is on round 3, and so we'll be able to show you yet again what another reamend looks like according to a soil test. And we're going to grow in it again. So this is the no-till bed. It's alive. We're going to keep it that way. It's got worms in it. Cover crops going. We'll show you what we do.
Hostile dropping into the area. Watch the skies.
Seedlings. It's crazy how powerful this light is. Like that's like 6 points and I've got it all the way up here. So I'm going to get the par meter out. We'll talk about DLI. We'll talk about these lights versus the cobs versus the strips. But here we have a 4x4 bed. And it may not look like much bigger. It's the same footprint, but that's only 9 square feet. That's 16 square feet. It's almost double the size. Like, it's a significant difference. And we're going to do honor to the Comfort Level 1 that we're going to grow there because it's coot seats. We're going to make it from scratch. And you can product. So you know if it's good or not.
Too fucking.
Resurging! Go get your revenge!
That's just a big recipe. I want to teach the Coots recipe because it's timeless and it's not something that's
Enemy UAV active!
and in that way I feel like it's full transparency.
Fucking one shot.
We're going to put the earth boxes. I know a lot of you guys have asked questions about earth boxes, and I've seen so many of you buy them, jump in, and have just gorgeous grows with them. But in these earth boxes, we're going to run the auto flowers, and I'm going to do 2 each, and I think you're going to be blown away. I want to show you that if you're running any plant, but also auto flowers,
I'm trying to go to bed.
supercharge your grow, because one of the limiting factors of an auto flower is you only have so much time. Organics can be perceived as slow. When you have a reservoir of water underneath sub-irrigating, you do like a hydro soil paradigm that provides fast growth once they hook up. And with 2 plants in each, it's really going to help make sure that we start burning through the water in here, and I think we're going to see.
Check weapons and gear. You got time before deployment.
So you can see how we set up the
Hostiles dropping into the area. Watch the strike. Dropping into the AO. Hands up!
Subscribe, hit the like button, tell us what you like, keep it real, and
Enemy dropping into the AO. Enemy dropping into the AO. Enough training. Now you fight a real enemy. Resurgence. Be advised, gas is closing in. Proceed to the safe zone. Survive the countdown to secure your redeployment. Earning points speeds up the countdown.
and also the ingredients that are in it. I really do this episode by making from scratch all going just so thank you for watching. I really appreciate everything.
Kill all targets. Go.
The build this all away is going to be a really good way to highlight on our season 3 10x10 series. So, one of the things you should know before I talk about the recipe is nobody does it the same as he does. He makes his own worm castings from scratch, and then he adds special ingredients throughout. So when he gets to the soil mixing phase, he's essentially just using and not adding all the organics. mixing this with good castings at this ratio works really, really well. So, if you're watching at home and you want to go a step further...
Enemy UAV active!
The way that he's done in the past is like a 100-gallon smart pot. He's even recommended those dumpster bags that waste management drops off that like fold out. You can fill it with compost and get worms in it. But he makes a thermal fillet compost. Then he adds worms to it later once it's cooled down. He's the base ingredients that he adds in there for a lot of the carbon. And then he adds a whole bunch of greens. And so you can look up that recipe. Then so that at least you know where it's coming from. And just Google Platinum Fruit soil recipe, and you'll find a ton of information about this soil recipe in particular, and it's very simple. Every ingredient, and I think one of the things that's neat is anywhere in the world, no matter where you live, you understand you can duplicate this recipe. You don't have to have any duplicate it. A big part of the do-it-yourself philosophy. So let's talk about it. I've got the kit here that's going to make available to you. All of this delivered to your home, or you can store all of it individually.
Gas is moving.
We have the aeration.
Enemy dropping into the AO.
It's a three-part recipe.
Enemy UAV active.
The second part, and we have all the worm castings, which is the third part. They're all equal parts by volume, not by weight. And so what I mean by that is rice holes, 1 cubic foot, a lot lighter weight than 1 cubic foot of worm castings. And when you find these old school recipes, a lot of times you'll see people say 40 pounds of worm castings. So is that wet, dry? So I like to go by volume when it comes to things like moisture. So that might help you if you're shopping on the market. People sell castings by the pound. It's okay as long as it's a fair price, but it can get a little confusing when it comes to moisture content. A cubic foot for, we like to say, is about 7.5 gallons. Wet or dry,
Prep for area recon.
UAV beginning flyover.
6 cubic feet of peat moss, 6 cubic feet of worm castings. Now, I'm going to talk about that because there's a few different foot bale. You'll notice this is responsibly harvested from Canada. Some people do use
UAV is out. You've got a second chance. Make it count. Gas is moving in. New safe zone highlighted.
Now on the aeration side, we have 2 types of aeration. In the one part, we have rice holes. And rice hole is a natural way to aerate the grade light. Normally perlite, which is black obsidian rock that's expanded under heat and it's puffed up like popcorn. And it takes a lot of energy to produce. This is more renewable in the sense that we're growing rice for food. It's important. And so the waste product becomes a stream.
Enemy dropping into the AO.
They don't break down right away. They're made of silica, kind of like glass, kind of like rocks. And so they last a lot longer. And it's an organic form of it because it's made by plants. And the rice holes are small. You can see what they look like. I'll show you on the part when I make the soil. But this adds to the drainage capability of the soil. And it makes it so that it doesn't make really clumpy soil. It makes it so that the roots can get in there, just like perlite would. And that's an important advantage. Now, sell it as a rigid wrapping. It's a lot bigger heavy metal testing, and they do a lot of batch consistency to make sure that there's no degradation of the seeds. And it's really important when it comes to rice. You don't want accidents contaminating and ruining your soil. Like on a commercial scale,
Enemy UAV active.
So quality of rice is important. And we use humus that is also used for the dental industry and water filtration and the beauty industry, and so it's a really clean material. Heavy metal tested. It's a great product. It's a 3/8 by quarter. So you'll see the size, but it's mine is pretty close to here, so price is not big of a deal. And it's a great product.
25 still remain in the AO.
You have perlite, like I have this, I want to use it. The whole point is to use it.
Gas is moving.
Around and never throw it away. And that way it becomes more sustainable and it becomes better over time. But the perlite would crush and break up and it would float to the top of the soil with watering. This does not do that. The bulk of what we use in pumice, the rice mold over years will eventually break down. That's okay. We'll have worms in there, cover crop roots, all sorts of ways to keep the soil active, alive, and fluffy, if that makes sense, where it's not going to compress. I like to use a little more pumice than rifles, just for the long term. Some of this will go away. All right? Worm casting. We're using build soil worm casting. They're very economic. They test out phenomenally well and balanced. But one of the things I like about the Coco is they're old school. They're made the right way, and they are really nutrient dense. And so instead of just loading this completely with those worm castings, I'm going to do one bag of it to make it cost effective, load the soil with the nutrients like Plaquemines Cootwood, and this is a locally made product. So if we just said, hey, all these have to be Colorado Worm Company, it would be super heavy.
Enemy UAV active!
And it's a great way to keep the best overdone right out the gate.
Get to the new safe zone. Gas is closing in. Fire sale is active. Buy station costs are adjusted.
Nowadays, especially with companies like Colorado Worm Company, build as well as and you mix it in and only order one good bag like this, you'll have something similar here where I'm just going to get out, bust out the bag. This is the Clackamas Coops 8-pound nutrient kit.
You've got a second chance. Make it count. Stay vigilant. Resurgence window is about to close. You are one of 25 left.
Son of a
Next time will be
bitch.
different. Return to base for debrief.
One last time.
Use this time to train a bit. We'll be deploying soon. Enemy dropping into the AO. Hostile dropping into the area. Watch the skies. Hostile dropping into the area. Watch the skies. Playtime's over. Stand by for deployment to the war zone.
Alright, let's make it count.
Resurgence. Be advised, gas is closing in. Proceed to the safe zone. Survive the countdown to secure your redeployment. Earning points speeds up the countdown. Hostile dropping into the area. Watch the skies. Kill all targets. Go. Enemy UAV active.
I just told it. I want it to be all flushed out. So when I was wetting, it should really come together. Some people choose to add a wetting agent homemade. You can take some soap now and get it all soaked in the water and do that.
I'm barely standing.
Good shit.
Here we go again. They aside that time, but we'll settle the score.
So that it all just falls apart. And I don't need to do it perfect, but I want to get started on this. Some people will go around and smash them with their shoes on, and some people will hit it with a shovel. I'm just going to get the big ones like this real quick. A lot of times the edges get really hard packed, where the center is pretty nice, but it gets a little drier on the edges. And so if yours is really dry, it might be better to add some moisture. Might make it easier. Either way, just got to get the job done. Now, I'm not going to get it perfect, but I wanted to show you the process, and I'm going to be looking for clumps the whole time. But we're going to be making the soil over a couple days. I'm going to moisten it, let it come to life. As I remix it, I'll look for clumps. Kind of the Zen way. I don't have to sit here and just spend 2 hours doing it. Okay, now I'm just going to spread it out. Use the shovel to break them up. There we go. So I've made a layer. It doesn't have to be perfectly flat. I just want it to be thinner, so it's not an entire volcano that I'm trying to amend, right? You can spend a lot more time breaking into these clumps, but like I mentioned, I'm going to do it as I go. Compost I want to add next, we're going to create that layer.
Use this time to train a bit. We'll be deploying soon.
And then our those little wings, actually. If you're using our bag for the first time, you find the part that has the tape strip on it, and you go to the right side of the tape strip.
Enemy dropping into the AO. Playtime's over. Stand by for deployment to the war zone. resurgence. The gas is closing on your position. Suggest you start running. Withstand a resurgence countdown to guarantee your redeployment. Earn points to secure it faster. Enemy UAV active. Hunt the enemies before they hunt you. Enemy UAV active.
I'm just going to keep hitting. And next is going to spread these out a little bit, and I'm going to have the nutrients, Proximus 2 nutrients, and then the minerals. This is not, it's not soil. But what makes soil is weathered rock, ground up rock, and some organic matter. And so it seems like adding a lot of rock like this makes sense when it comes to recreating real soil, but with the characteristics that we require growing it. I'm going to spread this out a little bit. Try not to be too hard on a couple of worms that are in there. I'm going to do the minerals, then I'm going to put the nutrients on top. Each one of these is already pre-rolled out, and it's for 9 cubic feet. We're making 18. There's 2 of them. Look at all those minerals. Beautiful. Dump it in here and get a little bit dusty. Now I've got the nutrients. 2 of these for 18 cubic foot. Each one makes 9.
Good shit.
You're redeploying. Make it mean something.
All these ingredients, you can find anywhere, right? These ones are all up to our standards.
Next time will be different. Return to base for debrief.
30th though.
So many good uses for Albania trees, which are Vivas, in India, and they're part of Ayurvedic medicine for thousands of years. So the leaf tree of utmost importance, the Kuranda tree, huge, and they both are really good at improving poor soil, fixing nitrogen. And so this isn't something that is just like
This shit for real, for real.
saying it's, you know, green, when the corn might be ruining the soil.
We obtained the never-before-seen raw footage. The president recording was addressed to the nation that day on January 7th, more than 24 hours after the last time he had addressed the nation from... We obtained the never-before-seen raw footage. The president recording was addressed to the nation that day on January 7th, more than 24 hours after the last time he had addressed the nation from the Rose Garden. Let's take a look.
Whatever it is.
Check your gear and weapons. We go soon. Enemy dropping into the AO. Enemy soldier nearby. Hostile dropping into the area. Watch the sky.
President Trump still did not say the election is over.
Well, you just summed it up. Look at the details. Seeing then President the day after trying to give them a speech, taking the speech, and the outing things that he was being asked to say were so telling. In particular, the biggest is, I don't want to say the election is over.
Training's over. Time to see what you've learned.
And the point that they made on the panel is, to this day,
Alright, this is it.
Resurgence. Gas is approaching your position. Get to the safe zone. Hold out until the countdown is complete to redeploy for free. Any point-worthy action will shorten its duration. Enemy dropping into the AO. Hunt the enemies before they hunt you.
Yeah, look, you have to understand the context, as we heard today, of how that peaked on January 7th, the day after the insurrection was made.
Enemy UAV active.
Look, you're in real danger of the 25th Amendment being invoked, and you're going to be taken out.
Enemy precision airstrike. Stay alert.
They particularly wanted them to say there is now going to be a transition.
Enemy dropping into the AO.
Mistakes, as any person was reading a teleprompter, is how others he didn't want to condemn the protesters and say a couple of times that they broke the law. He didn't want to say the election is over. He knew he had to say something if he was going to finish his last 2 weeks. But he was going to be dragged kicking and screaming to make that statement, and you saw there just how insincere it was.
Enemy precision airstrike. Stay alert.
The Select Committee to investigate the January 6th attack on the United States Capitol will be in order. In conjunction, the chair is authorized to declare the committee at any point. I'm barely standing. The committee's approval. Good afternoon. In our previous meeting, the Select Committee showed that then President Trump applied pressure at every level of government, from local election workers up to his own vice president.
Gas is moving.
Hoping public servants.
Enemy UAV active.
And help him steal an election he actually lost. Today, we'll tell the story of how the campaign the Department of Justice.
You've got another chance to make a difference.
Baseless claims Mr. Trump wanted the Justice Department to investigate, and that Mr. Barr viewed those claims as nonsense. Today, we'll hear from Jeffrey Rosen, the person Mr. Trump appointed to run the Justice Department. We'll hear from other senior Justice Department officials also. Together,
Resurging.
these public
Go get your revenge.
And we will show that Trump's demands that the department investigate baseless
Loadout drop inbound.
January 2021. Donald Trump didn't just
Hostile dropping into the area. Watch the skies. Gas is inbound. Marking new safe zone.
to appoint a special counsel to investigate alleged election fraud.
Enemy UAV active.
To 6 state legislatures urging them to consider altering the election results. And when these
Prep for area recon.
UAV beginning flyover.
with a lawyer who he believed would inappropriately put the full weight of the Justice Department behind the effort to overturn the election. Let's think about what that means. Wherever you live in the United States,
Only 25 left. Keep moving forward. UAV is out of fuel. Hostile dropping into the area. Watch the sky.
but instead of conceding the race,
Only iron sharpens iron.
you say this election was stolen. I want you to tell the Board of Elections not to share the results. That's essentially what Donald Trump is trying to do.
Enemy precision airstrike. Stay alert.
States. It was a great election. Today, my colleague from Illinois, Mr. Kensington, will walk through the select committee.
Hostile dropping into the area. Watch the skies.
Any open statement is carried on.
At this point, our committee has just begun to
You're back in the action.
show again. There is much more to come, both in our hearings and in our report. But I'd like to take just a moment to put everything we've seen in context. We've already seen
Less than 25 remain.
how he and his team
They aside that time, but we'll settle the score.
persuaded tens